Hello everyone, DeckTrolls here. Today I have for you my Noble Knight deck. I built this a long while back, but I never ended up posting it because there was a bunch of decks that I could have posted, so this one just never came around to it. And then more support came out, which is really cool because honestly it just made the deck so much better. And here we are now with updated Noble Knights. I just finished it today, so this is what I have for you. You got 3 Noble Knight Madrat. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field. While equipped with a Noble Arms equipped spell card, this card becomes an effect monster with this effect. If this card becomes dark and its level increases by 1. Once per turn, if you control no other monsters, you can special summon 1 Noble Knight monster from your deck in defense position except Noble Knight Madrat, and if you do, destroy 1 equipped spell card you control. You got 3 Noble Knight Custonin. If you control a Noble Arms equipped spell card, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Noble Knight Custonin once per turn this way. A Noble Knight monster that was synchro summoned, exeized, or link summoned using this card on the field as a material gains this effect. If this card is special summoned, you can normal summon 1 Noble Knight monster during your main phase of this turn in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Noble Knight monsters. You got 2 Noble Knight Brothers. This card can only attack if you control exactly 3 Noble Knight monsters and no other monsters. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon up to 2 Noble Knight monsters from your hand, but cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except Noble Knight monsters. Once per turn, you can target 3 Noble Knight and or Noble Arms cards in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1 card. You got 2 Noble Knight Pelennor. You can target 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card equipped to this card and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy them. Then draw 1 card. Also, this card cannot attack for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Pelennor once per turn. You got 2 Noble Knight Boars. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field. While equipped with a Noble Arms equipped spell card, this card becomes an effect monster with these effects. This card becomes dark and its level increases by 1. During your main phase, you can reveal 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck. Have your opponent randomly add 1 of them to your hand, then send the rest to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Boars once per turn. Now for the 1-ofs, you got 1 Noble Knight Dryston. While you control another Noble Knight monster, your opponent cannot target your monster with less than 1800 attack except this card for attacks with card effects. If a Noble Arms equipped spell card is equipped to this card, target 1 face-up card on the field, destroy that target. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Dryston once per turn. 1 Noble Knight Gualchavad. This card is treated as a normal monster while face-up on the field. While equipped with the Noble Arms equipped spell card, this card becomes an effect monster with this effect. You can target 1 Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and if you do, destroy 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card you control. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Gualchavad once per turn. And 1 Noble Knight Gwaine. If you control a light normal monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Alright, now we got 2 Merlin. You can only use each effect of Merlin once per turn. You can tribute this card and special summon 1 Noble Knight monster from your deck. You cannot special summon, each effect once per turn. You contribute this card, special summon a Noble Knight monster from your deck. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of its turn. The turn you activate this effect, except Noble Knight monsters. During either player's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Immediately after the effect resolves, synchro summon 1 Noble Knight synchro monster using monsters you control. Or, during either player's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon 1 Noble Knight Xyz monster using monsters you control. Yeah. Now we got 3 Morgan, the Enchantress of Avalon. When your opponent activates a card or effect while you control a Noble Knight monster and a Noble Arms equipped spell, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, destroy 1 Noble Arms equipped spell you control, and if you do, negate the activation. You can only use this effect of Morgan, the Enchantress of Avalon, once per turn. Got 1 Lady of the Lake. Cannot be used as a synchro material except for the synchro summon of a warrior monster. You can, if this card is used for a synchro summon, banish it. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 Noble Knight normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 level 5 Noble Knight monster you control, reduce its level by 1, and if you do, special summon this card from the graveyard. You got 2 Honest. During your main phase, you can return this face-up card from your field to the hand. During either player's damage step, when a light monster you control battles, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. That monster gains attack equal to the attack of the opponent's monster battling until the end of this turn. Alright, so now for the spells. Actually, there's no traps. So now for the spells, we got 2 Heritage of the Chalice. Add 1 Noble Knight monster or 1 Noble Arms card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If your Noble Knight monster equipped with a Noble Arms equipped spell is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, while it is in your graveyard, you can add this card from your to your hand. You can only use 1 Heritage of the Chalice effect per turn, and only once that turn. You got 1 Reinforcement of the Army. Add 1 level 4 or lower warrior monster from your deck to your hand. 1 Last Chapter of the Noble Knights. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon you can target 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card and 1 appropriate Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, special summon that monster, and if you do, equip the equipped spell card to that appropriate monster. You can only activate 1 Last Chapter of the Noble Knights per turn. Alright, we got 3 Glory of the Noble Knights. Target 1 Noble Knight monster you control, equip it with 1 equipped spell from your deck. You can equip to that target. You can only activate 1 Glory of the Noble Knights per turn. Now, fun fact about this card, you can pick any equipped spell from your deck that is appropriate. So it doesn't have to be a Noble Arms card. You could run different kinds of equips, but I don't. But you could. Just saying. Alright, now for the equips, we got 2 Noble Arms Gallatin. You can only control 1 Noble Arms Gallatin. Equip only to a warrior monster. It gains 1000 attack. During each of your standby phases, it loses 200 attack. If this face-up card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one warrior type noble knight you control. Equip this card to that target. You can only use this effect of Noble Arms Gallatin once per turn. You got 2 Noble Arms Clarent. Equip only to a warrior monster. You can only control 1 Noble Arms Clarent once per turn. You can pay 500 life points. The equipped monster can attack directly this turn. If this face-up card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 warrior noble knight monster you control. Equip this card to that target. You can only use this effect of Noble Arms Clarent once per turn. 1 Noble Arms Arfidutor. Yeah, I think. My bad, sorry. You can only control 1 Noble Arms Arfidutor. Equip only to a warrior type monster. Once per turn, you can target one set card your opponent controls. The equipped monster loses exactly 500 attack, and if it does, destroy that target. This attack loss remains if this card leaves the field, or if the monster becomes unaffected by card effects. If this face-up card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 warrior noble knight monster you control. Equip this card to that target. You can only use this effect of Noble Arms Arfidutor once per turn. 1 Noble Arms of Destiny. You can only control 1 Noble Arms of Destiny. Equip only to a warrior type monster once per turn. If the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. If this face-up card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 warrior type noble knight monster you control. Equip this card to that target. You can only use this effect of Noble Arms of Destiny once per turn. You got 1 Noble Arms Excalibur. You can equip only to a noble knight monster. It cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effects during your turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Noble Knight Xyz monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck 1 Noble Knight Xyz monster with a different name by using that target as the Xyz material. This special summon is treated as an Xyz summon. The Xyz material attached to it also becomes the Xyz material to the summoned monster. You can only use this effect of Noble Arms Excalibur once per turn. Now for the rest of the cards, we got 2 Tailor of the Fickle. Switch 1 equipped spell card equipped to a monster to another correct target. And lastly, 1 Swords at Dawn. Target 1 equipped spell card in your graveyard and 1 appropriate monster on the field. Equip the equipped spell card to that monster. Destroy that equipped spell card during the end phase. If you activate this card, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn. You can only activate 1 Swords at Dawn per turn. Alright, now for the extra deck, we got 1 Ignoble Knight of High... what was your name again? Lancelin. Requires 1 tuner or 1 or more non-tuner Noble Knight monsters. When this card is synchro summoned, you can equip 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card from your deck to this card. At the end of the battle phase, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can add 1 Noble Knight or Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. You can only control 1 Ignoble Knight of High Lancelin. Alright. You got 1 Sacred Noble Knight of King Custon. Requires 2 or more level 4 Noble Knight monsters. You can detach any number of materials from this card, then target that many cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. If this card is destroyed by battle or effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Noble Knight Xyz monster from your extra deck except Sacred Noble Knight of King Custon, and if you do, attach this card from the graveyard to that monster as material. This card is treated This is treated as an Xyz summon. You can only use each effect of Sacred Noble Knight of King Custonin once per turn. Now we got 2 Artorius, King of the Noble Knights. Requires 2 level 4 Noble Knight monsters. When this card is Xyz summoned, you can target up to 3 Noble Arms equipped spell cards with different names in your graveyard. Equip those targets to this card. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. Destroy any number of spell or trap cards on the field up to the number of Noble Arms equipped spells cards you control. You got 2 Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorius. Requires 2 level 5 Noble Knight monsters. When this card is Xyz summoned, you can target up to 3 Noble Arm equipped spell cards with different names in your graveyards. Equip those targets to this card. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 other monster on the field. Destroy that target. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 level 4 or higher Noble Knight monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. And lastly, I only have 1, but you could run 2 Isolde, 2 Tales of the Noble Knights. Requires 2 warrior monsters. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 warrior monster from your deck to your hand, but for the rest of the turn, you cannot normal summon or set or special summon monsters with that name, nor activate their monster effects. You can send any number of equipped spell cards with different names from your deck to the graveyard and special summon 1 warrior monster from your deck whose level is equal to the number of cards sent to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Isolde, 2 Tales of the Noble Knights, once per turn. Alright guys, so that is my deck profile of Noble Knights. So, tell me what you think. What did you like? What did you dislike? What would you do to improve it? Please comment below. Like when you guys comment. Remember, I have 100 plus budget-friendly decks, so there's going to be a lot of fun content coming your way. So please make sure to like and subscribe. These names were super hard to pronounce. I hope you're like me because it's difficult. Alright, most importantly, have fun!